Welcome to The Mothers-in-Law, a podcast exploring the demanding world of being a mother and a lawyer. Join my mom, Carrie Fogliani, as she shares real-life stories and practical tips to help you find joy and balance in your life. Let's embark on this journey of community and support together. This show is sponsored by General Counsel West, a law firm that supports companies transforming healthcare comprised of mothers and fathers practicing law.
Hello, this is Carrie Fogliani from the Mothers-in-Law podcast, and it is with incredible joy and enthusiasm that I am welcoming Jeannine Taylor to the podcast today to kick off what we hope will be incredible insights and guidance for those working moms, especially those working lawyers out there who are trying to balance motherhood along with being amazing attorneys. And we are really blessed by Jeannine agreeing to come on today in our inaugural podcast to talk through some of the things that have really made her career and her life as a mom enriching and also challenging, because it's no secret that trying to balance being a great mom and a successful and accomplished professional doesn't come without a lot of intentionality. So I'd love to kick it off with you, Jeannine. Jeannine is the Deputy General Counsel of Keck Medicine of USC. She's also the past president of WALALA, which is one of the largest bar associations in LA, and really does amazing work to make all of us who know her so proud of witnessing her journey. Welcome, Jeannine.
Oh, thank you, Carrie. I'm delighted to be here. Wow, you make me sound so good. Thank you for that introduction.
Well, we're so happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. I mean, especially like you've watched, you really have been there for my journey from when I was a very baby attorney, a junior associate practicing at a firm together. And you've always been a cheerleader and supporter of me and really everyone who you come across. So I think all your listeners are lucky to hear about all the connections that you've made with great people, and all of the knowledge that you'll be able to impart through all these interviews.
You're so sweet. Well, I want to go back to Foley, if we can just start there.
Do it, yeah.
I remember, this was early 2000s, and you're a summer intern, and you walk through the hallways with a definite glow about you, to be there with intention and dedication. The irony is that I was a new associate with no kids, no spouse, no responsibilities, barely making it through. And you were doing the same thing with, I think, one or two little ones at the time.
Yeah.
And I just sit back now that I understand what motherhood's all about. And I wonder, how did you do that? I'd love you to share.
It was very challenging, but I did not do it on my own. It truly does take a village. I have had and still have a very strong, wide support system. So when I started at Foley as a summer associate, you're right. My oldest daughter, Adara, was 2. And I had not had Anissa yet. My youngest, I had her my 3rd year of law school. And this just shows you some flawed thinking here. But my thought was, well, if I just knock this out early, then they'll be built into my work schedule. Because everyone says once you get started, that is not a good time to have little ones. So let me just do it now.
Got a head start.
Yeah, I don't know if I would recommend that to anyone, but yeah, that I also, to be honest, when I decided to apply for law school, I didn't know any lawyers. So I didn't really understand the legal field and was just hearing things anecdotally. So this advice I had put together did not make the best of sense, right? I did have the benefit of, after graduating, I worked for about a year at a law firm to get to know lawyers and to see if this was something I actually wanted to do. And then that is when I applied for law school and, went down that pathway. Um, but back to Foley, right? So I have my 2 year old. I'm, thinking of maybe having my second, and I, I didn't realize how much of a balancing act it was going to be at
Oh
the
my
time.
goodness.
But I just treated being in law school like I was actually at a job already.
Hmm.
And so I had childcare with my family, and I would drop Adara off in the morning and go to my classes and stay there in between and just have it like it was like a 9 to 5 and pick her up afterwards. And I said, okay, well, I'll just do this with two. There's a big difference between
Yeah,
one
just a
and
little
two of them.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But again, I did have a glow. I was very optimistic, young 20s, just,
Yes, I mean, we all felt it. I mean, it was very, like I said, like you made motherhood look very easy. Like, oh, maybe you could have kids in this environment. And I do think, tapping into your village. And I think especially, I mean, what was it like because it was your family?
mhm.
Whether that helped kind of you manage what they always like term as the guilt factor of leaving them.
Yeah. Um, it being family definitely made all the difference in the world. I felt totally comfortable. I knew they were safe. I knew they were loved and cared for. But there's still the guilt, right? And so part of my guilt was, as my Adara is getting older, she's looking at my grandmother as her primary caretaker and mom,
Mm,
right? And so I got a little, resentful and butthurt,
yeah,
right? Like, she's
for
not going to know
sure.
who I am. She thinks
Oh,
you're her mom now, but you spend more time with her than I do. And, you know, but I didn't have kids not to spend time with them. Like, this isn't working the way I
all
thought
those
it.
things.
All
Oh,
those things. And she just, and this is a woman who raised 4 kids, single mom on her own, worked two
wow.
jobs. And she's like, you know what? They are loved for. They are loved. They feel loved. They're cared for. They're fed. They're dry. They're happy. They're good. Like
Yeah.
you have the problem. They
Right.
don't have
Don't.
the, she doesn't have the problem. The
She's
problem.
right about that, right? I mean, we all struggle with that, and you're so lucky you had someone to call you out so early. You know?
Yeah. She kind of, explained to me that it really was my own guilt I was putting on myself for no good reason.
Yeah.
Right.
But kids have a way
Right.
of they know what we're trying to do, and I feel like sometimes they can sneak in with those feelings that overwhelm you sometimes.
Oh, yeah, they do. And they get better I mean they learn it as they get older. I feel like truly when they're the toddler age, they're kind of they're overjoyed to see you, but they're overjoyed to see a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? But then as I found as they got older, it was, having that stand-in person there to, take them to dance classes or to be there to help them get ready for the performance. And, I may make the performance, but I'm, may not be the one taking them. And they were kind of like, I want you to be there. I want it, it's so those were the times where I felt like it was more meaningful because then it was about them,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't just about me and my guilt like they actually
Or
were, you
choosing
know.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a huge kind of as they get older to recognize it's not just sort of a manipulative guilt, for lack of a better
Right.
word, but it's a true, I want you. Like, I
Yeah.
enjoy you. I
Hmm.
want to spend time with you as my mom because I like you. And that really, I think, is more of a fun way to spend time with your kids than doing it because you feel guilty about not being with them all
Well,
the
and
time.
and that can be a narrow window too.
Totally. Yeah. Oh,
Right.
it's very narrow. I feel like it's shutting down on me, but
Right. Especially with girls and their moms, right? I
yes.
want you there versus can you then it goes back to, "But can you just drop me off?" Like,
Yeah.
no, we no, we want to go. We just wanted to see if you could pay for it,
Ah,
right?
I It's true. It is a narrow window. Recently I was at a store and my daughter wanted to buy the same outfit as me, and it was like an orange top, and I was rolling my eyes, and the woman's like, "Just do it. She's not going to want to do this for longer." And it was like, okay, because it is short. But now, how is it now? I mean, your girls are like grown and beautiful, and to see a mom, like, do they look at you in awe, or is it you're just the mom? I mean, because you're so accomplished and paved such a way.
You know, I feel like regardless of all that, they look at me as their mom, not like, for my credentials.
Yeah.
Um, but they definitely are proud. And um, I think having my kids proud of me and what I'm doing is one of the like best best feelings in the world, right? I mean, that's really what we do it for, right? We do it to take care of them, but also we want them happy and we want them to feel proud of what we're doing and wanting to aspire to be like us in some little way. I would not know they're proud from what they tell me. I only know though from overhearing or
Hmm.
having friends or relatives tell me back what they've said positive about me behind my back. Right.
But it
So
still counts. It
it
absolutely
totally
still
counts.
counts because, especially with daughters, I feel like that's a harder relationship to have that exchange. But
Yeah. And we were having a conversation before thinking about this, our conversation here.
yeah.
And so it made me ask them, like, are you proud? Is there anything I've done that you're proud of? Right?
God.
And the oldest one said, of course, everything you do. Like,
Oh,
you're selfless, right? And I was like, okay, well, so something's working. And then the youngest one actually, like, because this is all over text because that's how you have
yeah.
conversations with 20-year-olds,
Yeah,
right?
I understand.
Um, she basically said, thank God you did everything you did for me and that I'm old enough to appreciate it
Oh
because
my
I
God.
was totally blind to it. And I would just get annoyed that you were trying to always tell me what to do.
Mm.
But now I see you were trying to just help me avoid mistakes,
Oh my
um,
God.
and protect me. So,
I
yeah.
mean, that is like, I have the chills because you don't ever really sit in your office at Foley, right? Look forward to the future when you have these little girls flitting around on a Sunday when we're trying to get work done and to flash forward for them. And the text thing, what I love about that is you have it forever. So you should take screenshots and send them to
Oh
yourself,
yeah,
right? That's a
that one's
benefit.
getting saved. Yeah.
Yes, you should have that in your office because, I'm sure there were challenging times with
If you would
raising
have
two
told me as
girls.
a teenager that they ever would, and people did tell me, oh, they're going to appreciate you later. I
Mhm.
know it's hard now. Just stay strong. And I was like, they're never going to appreciate it, but this is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
Like, I got to do it. I got to hold the line, but no, they are not going to thank me later. I know you may think that, but no, no, this is, and to have it actually materialize and be true, it's like,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
those other moms knew what they were talking about, you know?
Right. I mean, you like to believe in them. I do. But do you think, I mean, when you say this is what I signed up for,
Hmm.
because I don't exactly know what I signed up for as far as trying to be a mom and a lawyer, um, to kind of help people that are either thinking about being a mom or that are sitting there holding their newborn or their toddler trying to figure it out. What would you say they're signing up for?
Um, the main thing you're signing up for is always, always thinking of someone else before you think about yourself, um, whether you want to or not. And it's not like a punishment or a curse, though. It's because they make you whole and you're worried about them all the time, right? If you're thinking about vacation, the first thing you're going to think about is one, are they coming with me? Or if not, what will where will they be during that time, right? Like
Yeah, that's true.
everything about you revolves around them. When you go to work revolves around when you're taking them to camp, right? Um, and it's not just logistically. When you think about that vacation, oh, we want to go to we want to go to Yosemite, well, are they going to like camping?
Mm,
It's not about whether you like
yeah,
camping. It's first, are they going to enjoy this experience,
that's
right?
amazing.
But you get so much from their happiness
Yeah.
that's why you're kind of trained. Like it's something I think that like the universe has instilled in us. We're protecting, we're thinking about them first. And we get so happy when we see the positive results of what our caretaking has created,
Oh my
right?
gosh. I mean, even just those texts, quite honestly. Like that came out of years and years of being selfless and keeping them at the forefront of your mind and their well-being, all while you are becoming like one of the most successful attorneys that I know. And
Oh,
that's what I can't quite, like, I'm trying to do the math here of how that happens. And I know, to talk through when you were at Foley, that's a very demanding environment that
mhm.
I could only withstand for about 2.5 years before I stepped away into the in-house environment. And I know you stuck it out a bit longer. What kind of did you learn in that period? And then to focus on sort of this transition over to the in-house. What motivated you to do that?
Mm-hmm. Um, so I I do want to say to the like thinking about like what we were just talking about, like being selfless, right? And all the moms who naturally do this, I don't think we give ourselves credit for it. It just I hope that you and other moms will stop and appreciate yourselves for all that you do for them because we do it so naturally. But that is huge to constantly put someone else's happiness, health, well being before your own, right? I mean, and we have to be healthy about it and make sure we're taking care of ourselves, but we just naturally do it. And I don't think we give ourselves credit. Instead, we think about what we haven't done.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's part of, but I think that's kind of our critique as lawyers,
Yeah.
where
Yeah. What's the problem here,
what are
right?
we not doing right
Yeah.
versus like not, to your point, taking an accounting of a lot of the things that these women, and I see them, are doing just great. And like, because
Hmm.
I think it's a calling. Like once you have that child and you're responsible for this human, there is some part of our brains that
Yeah.
I think it dissipates because we're only kind of considering their well-being, to your point,
Yeah.
without even, it's a natural instinct.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think being an attorney, where we're sort of on the perfectionist spectrum, I would say,
Hmm.
we're always thinking of how we could do that better or different or
Hmm.
easier, and
Yeah.
not reflecting on the good.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
your point, no, what it's a that's a very, I hope people catch up on that, because what you just said is, I mean, I wish I heard that 15 years ago, because it might have changed the way how hard I myself and other women are on themselves with trying to balance this all.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't stop and give ourselves enough gold stars.
No, no gold stars. I guess my question too, I guess transitioning from that law firm to in-house role, was that sort of related to trying to shift it from a personal life, or was it really, I mean, you obviously had a trajectory in mind for your
It
career as
was.
well.
Well, it was a combination. It was in part for them because I wanted to spend more time with them, but that I felt like I that would be fulfilling for me, but also I can't say it was all about them. That's not true. It really was all about me and my mental health. I got to a point where I realized I don't want to become a partner. This is not my pathway. The alternative routes that I would take if I stayed there were not what would bring me joy, and the stress from it did not balance out or what I was getting from it financially. So, I mean, I look at it almost as like kind of the cost of happiness,
Oh,
right?
yeah. No, I get it.
Going in-house was a definite pay reduction, and you definitely stifle or kind of cap your income to a certain extent, right? I mean, you're going to have some merit or market increases, but it's not going to be the same way that you can increase your compensation if you're at a firm,
Yep.
right? But that was a very conscious choice. I was at the point where I wanted to be part of something that was larger than me, somewhere that
Yeah.
had a mission, and it. I was even open to not practicing law any longer.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
That's so, because I'm speaking to other folks who actually left the practice of law just because really, I mean, you hit like a couple buzzwords in that sharing. That one is the mental health toll that can come with that level of stress in a law firm, especially as an active parent, right? I mean,
yeah,
if you don't mind elaborating, sort of what were the signs for you, just to help other people that might be considering a change, just because everyone has their stress limit. And I do say, like, not all stress is bad.
yeah.
But I think you were there, even in my darker moments, when I think I did admit to you that I was hoping I'd get hit by a truck on the way to work so that I would avoid having to just going to take a break,
Take a break. I remember that. And you were saying, and because, you don't put yourself there, but you get this nice period where people take care of you and you
Yeah,
can just rest and sleep. And don't you ever want something like that? And I was thinking, oh no, dear, this is not
that's not the
okay.
way to get it. Like, there's other ways. But I guess just to talk through like what your kind of emotional, mental state was as you were making that decision.
Well, I will say, like, when you made that statement, Carrie, at least you were self-aware and there was an awakening. I think
That's
what was
true.
happening with me was I was on automatic pilot, right? And I was just functioning and operating and going through the motions, and using all of the energy I had at work to solve problems there, to do whatever needed to be done. And by the time I was home, I had nothing left to give. And then I would just start it over the next day. And it got to the point when you do something like that and you're not allowing yourself time to recuperate or have joy, you're basically pushing yourself into a depression. And that's what was happening. Um, and it's not good for you. It's not good for your family. It's just,
Oh, it's so hard. I've said this before, like the hardest kind of parent to be is a depressed parent
yeah.
because
Yeah.
those kids, like they need you
Yeah.
to be able to show up. And when you cannot because of the mental exhaustion and emotional stress, I do think it's and especially for how we're all built, it's
Hmm.
either a point of pulling away in isolation or it's a
Yeah.
time for action.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you were able to act quickly enough to sort of navigate through that.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I just opened myself up to, I knew I could do what I was doing, right? So that felt good. Like I can practice, I can be a good lawyer because I went through a point before where I actually almost left the law firm because I felt like I wasn't
Oh,
a good lawyer, right? That I didn't have it in me. So I felt confident I could do it. But then I realized this is not what I want to do and it's not good for me. So I just opened myself up to legal and non-legal jobs. And
okay.
I, went back to all of my connections that I had and told basically all the folks I really trusted, here's what I'm looking for, here's what I'm going through. And it was one of our mutual friends, um, who had left the firm in record time before you. She had left in
Oh,
less than
wow.
a year.
Someone
Yeah.
beat me? Okay.
Yeah, she had left within like 8 or 9 months, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but we still went hiking Runyon Canyon,
Oh, wow.
like once or twice a month. So I was talking to her about it, and she said, I'm friends, pretty good friends. Like we go out to dinner with the General Counsel at USC, and they're looking for someone. And I
Amazing.
was like, no, they're not looking. They were, but that went down because that would be my dream job. She
Oh,
said, no, I'm pretty sure they're looking. Just send me your resume. And it turned out that the person they had slated for the job was no longer available, and they had opened the position back up.
wow.
Um,
That's like the stars aligning. I'm sorry.
the stars aligning because I had tried to apply for that job and it had shut down. So
Wow.
it reopened and I was able to apply quickly and um, literally the stars aligned. Um, and I, again, at that time, didn't realize exactly what I was walking into. Um, but I knew it felt right. It felt very different. Um, and it didn't feel like it didn't feel like I was somewhere where I shouldn't be, right? I was definitely welcomed there.
That's amazing.
Um, and I was embraced not only by the attorneys who were there, who were like a family. USC is one of those places where like people don't leave, right? Especially in
Yes.
our team in our
Yes.
office. And the staff have been there for years and years, and they embraced me. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the staff were actually rooting for me and very excited because there had not been a black attorney there yet.
Oh my
And most of the
goodness.
staff were minorities.
Wow.
Um, but I'm going to be totally honest. And it was a little bit ironic because, at that time, I felt like I look a little racially ambiguous. Like this is a podcast, so
You're
folks don't know
stunning.
that. But um, I felt that to be professional, I needed to make sure my hair was straight, and blown out and my curls weren't showing. Like that was a professional look. And so I heard from my assistant after I got the job that, he wasn't in that day and it called and said, how did the black lady do?
Oh my
And I
goodness.
said, oh, there was a lady here. She wasn't white, but I don't know what she was. I'm not sure if she was black though, right?
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
so, I went from
Because
that to now just being much more confident in myself and, you know, um, being who I am,
yes.
where, my headshot now I have cornrows and I
Oh,
look.
I mean, and honestly, I'll be on, the last week I was with Judy Waltz and we were just raving about the radiance of that picture. And you are glowing. Like there is a light coming through you. And I think, in being able to even chat through some of the challenges that you've experienced, but also the incredible things you've accomplished, like, that fulfillment. I feel like it comes through that picture. It's like one of my, it's stunning. And that is who you are. And it's someone we're all so proud of, for so many reasons, but we literally were like, that is the most radiant picture. And then she said, well, she's radiant in every picture. I'm like, I know it's,
Oh
you really
God.
have a glow. You have a glow and you have a whole fan club. But, I think, going back to that, like that part of who you represent, I know you carry that with a lot of weight and also probably even harder on yourself to do good and do well. And I think
Hmm.
that's something that we've chatted through even at Foley, like,
Yeah.
getting to a place where you are comfortable in your authenticity
Hmm.
and the fact that USC created that environment for you. I want to say thank you to them.
It's yeah, I have deep gratitude and respect that I can be the same person at work that I am when I'm not at work
Amazing.
because I did not feel that way at a law firm. You were much more confident and comfortable being that same person in and out the office. And it took me leaving to be able to be myself.
Yeah. No, and I think, and you stayed there quite a while to try to figure it out if it was possible there, which
Yeah.
is also, impressive. And I think, the only other tragic thing in what you just shared, because I think it would have been such a disservice, is if you left the law. I mean, did that really happen? You were really considering, like, why wasn't it for you? Just so that other people can understand that thought
Oh,
process.
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I worked really closely with Judy Waltz and Denise Rodriguez,
Oh, yeah.
both very powerful, bright
They're legends, those
leaders,
two. Yeah.
partners in healthcare, right? And they were very kind and generous with their time, with their intellect, and they basically invested in me to teach me that area of law. Um, and so maybe 6 years in, I just felt, I'm not progressing.
Mm.
I'm not getting it. I don't see myself as a confident leader who, really can can practice in the way I see these other partners
Mm.
practicing, right? Like it just does not seem like I have it in me. And so I felt like the first person I owed that conversation to let know that, this was not the right fit and I'm going to move on was Denise
Oh, wow.
because she
Okay.
had invested so much. And I sat down with her to give my goodbye speech
Oh,
and thank her. And um, she immediately got kind of not frustrated, but like perplexed almost.
I
And
remember that look.
yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah.
talking? Why would you think this? And
Hmm.
I explained different instances and things that had happened, and I think a lot of it was just being in rooms with a lot of old white men who were very loud and confident and did not where I felt like there wasn't space there for me. And she basically said, like, they take up the space. Like you could do the same.
Yes.
They are just pontificating and puffing their chests out, I remember she said. And you're just as smart as any of them. And the fact that Denise, who is
That's
brilliant,
impressive. She is brilliant. So you should write that one down. Have her text
right?
you.
And she said, "Look, give me 6 months, and in 6 months, if you still feel the same way, you can leave." So she basically told me I couldn't leave, right? And
Okay. And you listened
so
to her. You could have left, but you
I
decided you
could,
trusted her. That's good.
I trusted her. If 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 she had that much faith and confidence in me and was willing to invest her time and energy, then I owed it to her and myself. Definitely owed it to her. And so I stayed, and she really focused on pushing me to be more vocal and to create space for myself and not wait for someone to bring me a seat at the table, but show me how to do it for myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't thank her enough. I don't know who else she's done that for, but I'm sure there are many others. And it was the timing was interesting too because right around that time she was diagnosed with breast cancer,
Wow. Okay.
and so she needed to leave, and she trusted me with her clients.
Wow.
We're not small clients.
They were not small clients, and she'd had them for decades.
Decades.
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that had to boost your confidence. And we're always like looking for things to like help us get puffed up. I mean, that had to.
It did. At the time, it made me, I mean, I was just scared to death, right? Could not let this woman down. And, you know, I, yeah, it's someone entrusting you with one of their most valued possessions, right? Like,
Yes.
I'm going to take great care of this.
Yes.
And it worked out well. So I think the timing of all of that really was instrumental in boosting my confidence to the point where I felt like, okay, I do know how to do this. I can
Okay.
practice law,
Yes.
and I am just as good, or maybe even with some of them, maybe a little smarter, just because I know not to be vocal in certain
And
situations
when to
where
be
they don't.
vocal. Yes. And I think that there's having that balance and the experience of knowing what you're trying to not be like
Yes.
can also be as instructive as like stepping out and getting more visible and more vocal. Because I do think that's a common challenge that a
Yeah.
lot of female attorneys have is finding that little piece of confidence right before you know the answer to say
Yes.
it out
Yeah.
loud. Like if I could whisper something into every female, it's like, just do it. You got it. Do
Yeah.
it. Just say it. Because they might be wrong too, but it's just having that confidence. But I think the one thing it sounds like was also really impactful about that experience of Denise handing you her clients is it prepared you for. I mean, you're running a $2 billion organization that cannot
Yeah.
land lightly on your heart. Like, that's a huge responsibility that I feel like that was the precursor for you having that belief in you from Denise. Did that help you as you stepped out of the role from Foley to USC?
I mean, absolutely, because um, just the fact that I had so much respect for her and her opinion. Um, and so if she felt like I did right by her, I did a good
Yeah.
job advising those clients, they remained happy. Um, I felt like I had the skills, I had whatever that skill set is needed to be able to advise clients who were at that level. And if I could do it from the outside, I felt like there was a good chance I could do it
Could
from
do
the
from the
inside as
inside.
well.
That makes sense. Do you think that anything about being a mother helped you be a great lawyer or is
Oh,
helping you?
absolutely. I mean, first the time management,
That's a
right?
good one. Yeah.
Being able to coordinate things the way we coordinate, right? But also I mean, a lot of what we're dealing with day to day as lawyers and as mothers is solving everyone's problems,
Yes.
right? I mean, that's what we are.
That is the
We're
calling.
professional problems. We get the facts, we get the information, and then we figure it out, right? Okay, here's what could go wrong. Here here's what we need to do and here's why we should do it. And I feel like, maybe I may be a little bit too lawyerly, but when I'm talking to my girls, like, reading through that text message, my daughter saying, you weren't trying to control me. You were trying to give me the best advice so I wouldn't hurt myself,
Yeah.
right? And that's what we're doing as moms all the time. We're
True. And
saying,
maybe, yes, you could tell your clients that too, right?
yeah,
Just-
right. Help me help you. I'm trying to
right.
help you. I
No.
see what the problems are here, and I
Yeah.
see a road you can take, and I see a road that has more problems. Like,
Yeah, no,
um, yeah.
it's true. It's so true. I mean, I think the logistical part as well as just getting that trust
Hmm.
relationship with your kids.
Oh, yeah.
It takes time.
Hmm.
I know. Just because I know I having a lawyer mom and it's like having a very bossy mom. Like we're dictating what they like. It's hard to like get them to their decision making since we already know the answer to solve the problem. So, do you have any tips or tricks for moms that are navigating that kind of like that teen horizon of how to balance out, especially given our personalities?
Oh man, one of the things that I wish I would have done more of is just like asking them questions and letting them guide themselves instead of telling them what you really should do, right?
Yeah.
And I, I I do a much better job with clients of saying, okay, well, tell me why that seems like the option you would want to pursue, and what are the things you're worried about happening, right? Um, but with my girls, it's like I'm just automatically, oh no, you should do this. You don't want to do that, right?
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Like,
Yeah, that's a bad idea. There's so many things that can go wrong instead of asking them, well, why do you want to do that? Well, what else have you thought of? Do you think there's another way you could do that?
wow. I mean, this would be it's revolutionary because it's definitely not how I'm rolling the situation right now.
Because you
Yeah.
just want to roll in and protect them
Yeah.
and tell them what to do. And most children don't want to be told what to do. They want to feel like they are part of the solution and know the answer and know better,
Yeah.
right? Um, so if I could have kind of been a little bit more hands off when it came to the advice and listened more before I got there. I think I've gotten to that point. I do a much better job at it now, but they're in their 20s.
Still, it's not
So,
too late. It's not too late. I think even if your kids are in their 20s, I feel like this is a long-term project. It's not end. It's no end date. But I do want to be sensitive to our time today. But I did want to ask you just one more question. I think you shared and alluded to this, but have you found fulfillment in this experience over the last 25 years, I guess, that we've known each other?
um, it's the times when you don't expect it when you connect with them, you know, and taking advantage of those moments. Like I remember, at one point, my girls were in school in the Valley, and I was living in Los Angeles, and we were going through this big custody dispute. So long story short, I did a lot of driving,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking that I have to take them here and drive them here. And then as they got closer to driving and being at the house, I realized, wow, I get to
Yeah.
do this for them. Because some of those conversations, I don't know, there's nothing like being in a car where you're both kind of captive, your attention, right?
Yes.
But you're not looking directly at each other. And so it doesn't feel, as much pressure. The things that they would share and bring up, I don't know if we would have had those conversations in any other setting if we were sitting across each other eating a meal together, right?
Yeah.
And just shifting and realizing, wow, these are going to come to an end. So let me take advantage. Let me try and enjoy this.
Yeah. No,
And
the get
reframe how you
to.
look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that get to mindset, because I think, I'm driving a lot,
Yeah.
but I think taking advantage of that time, because it is short lived. I mean, I'm so close to having a driver, and I've already taught him how to drive. I know he knows where the brake is, he knows where the accelerator is. I'm excited, but I do think what you just shared is so powerful, because especially as a working parent, our time is limited. But
Yeah.
even those times can be quality experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have to be when you're on vacation.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your very busy schedule. You're an amazing human being, and we're all so proud of all your accomplishments. And it's been so much fun to be on this journey with you. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Oh, thank you, Carrie. I'm just so honored that you chose me
Oh
this
my goodness.
conversation with.
This was the most fun. So I look forward to many more, and hopefully we'll see each other very soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jeannine. Have a great day.
Thank you, Carrie.
You've been listening to The Mothers-in-Law with Carrie Fogliani. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you found the insights and stories shared helpful as you navigate your own journey. I also hope that you enjoyed listening to my mother, not that I always do. For more resources, to connect with the community, and to continue exploring how to align your personal and professional life, visit www.themothersinlaw.com. We appreciate you.